Facebook wasn't the first thing I built. I also built chat systems and games, study tools and music players, and I'm not alone. J.K. Rowling got rejected 12 times before she finally wrote and published Harry Potter. Even Beyoncé had to make hundreds of songs to get Halo. The greatest successes come from having the freedom to fail.
I know nothing about technology. I know nothing about management. I know nothing about, but the only thing is that you don't have to know a lot of things. You have to find the people who are smarter than you are. For so many years, I always try to find the people who are smarter than I am. And when you find so many smart people, my job is to making sure the smart people can work it together. And then if smart people can work it together, it's easier. The vision they will believe. Because if stupid people can work it together easily, smart people can never work together. But stupid people work it together easily, they don't believe the vision. The people who believe the vision, but they don't work together. So very important is finding smart people, and my job is to making sure they work together. So the culture is important.
The only thing we truly own in this life is moments in time. And this is a moment in time for me that will never be erased. And no matter what happens, this is always going to be my time. Yeah. This will be my moment in time because I lived here and I was a part of this. Yeah. You know, everything else, this bag, this watch, these clothes, they will all go. What does it really matter?
Yeah, your body.
Even the body will go. This is a shell. Yeah. But what's inside, hope to God, lives on forever.
First rule, the moment you start to slide, you're shoveling against the tide. What you need to do is what? Take a break. And here's what's cool about it. You can study for a half hour. It doesn't take a half-hour break to recharge your batteries. For most people, about 5 minutes. And this is where you go away, do something fun for 5 minutes. Call a friend, talk to a child, talk to a parent, a roommate. Enjoy some music. Do something you enjoy and actually say, this is my treat for having studied for 30 minutes effectively. Go back and here's what happens. Your efficiency is nearly 100%. Study a half hour, take a break. Study a half hour, study a half hour. Now had she done that over a course of 6 hours, she would have got about 5.5 hours of serious studying and about a half hour of total break time.
Don't try to be the best. Be the first. Be the first to change. Be the first to take the challenge. Be the first one to overcome the difficulties. Because the best person, there's only one Olympic champion. I don't think I'm lucky enough to be that. But I can always try the new things and don't give up. I believe it because you are so unique. Everybody's unique. Be yourself is always the key.
It's a woman's problem. It's a black people problem. It's a poor people problem. And if there's anything that I've learned is that we can only fix this world together. We can't do it divided. I cannot emphasize that enough. So when we're marching and protesting and posting, tell your friends to pull up. Imagine what we could do together.
She said, well, today I found out that 2 weeks ago all of my friends had a party and they didn't invite me and I only just found out about it today. And when I asked them why they didn't invite me, they said, well, because it was the kind of party that Dr. Justin Coulson wouldn't have approved of. And for those of you for whom the penny didn't drop, I'm Dr. Justin Coulson. And I looked at her and I said, you know, if they didn't invite you to a party that I wouldn't approve of, it sounds like there probably were a few things going on that are not consistent with our values. Was there alcohol being consumed and potentially misused? She said, yes. I said, were there other drugs being consumed and potentially misused? She said, almost certainly. I said, were people disappearing into rooms for intimate encounters that they may or may not regret the next day? She said, possibly. I said, well, I'm really glad you weren't there. And so I said, do we need to revisit the rules? She looked at me and said, Dad, I know why we have the rules. I've been part of the conversations, remember? I said, okay. I said, I want to ask you a tough question. You're nearly an adult. You're a year and a bit off being an adult. Now, I think these are good rules, but do we need to rethink the rules? And then I waited and my heart pounded.
My dad growing up would actually encourage me to fail. So I would come home from school and he would say to my brother and me, so what'd you guys fail at this week? And if I didn't have something, he would actually be disappointed. So it flipped the whole model on its head. And I would come home from school and I can remember I'd be like, Dad, I tried out for this and I was horrible. And he'd be like, way to go. And he'd high five me. And I didn't realize it at the time, but he was just changing my definition of failure. Yes. My definition of failure became not about the outcome, but about not trying. And so for me, going through life, my only failures are when I didn't try it because I was scared.
If you want to become successful in life, young man, he said, number one, you got to change your mindset. He said, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Number two, practice OQP, only quality people. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. I found that out. I left all my broke friends. I said, y'all got to go. Because I used to be so broke, I'd pass the bank and trip the alarm, you know? And the third thing he said, develop your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are.
You know, every man has two lives, and the second starts when he realizes he has just one.
Wow.
It's like a happy person wants 10,000 things. A sick person just wants one thing, right? So it's your unlimited desires that are clouding your peace, your happiness. Have desire. Just don't focus on more than one desire at a time. The universe is rigged in such a way that if you just want one thing and you focus on that, you'll get it. But everything else, you gotta let go.
You don't trust that someone's never going to betray you. You just trust that you'll be able to handle it if they do, that you'll be able to walk away. That's a massive key to it. Stop worrying about whether you can trust someone else. Maybe you can't. We don't know that. Only time will tell if you can trust somebody else. That is a pointless waste of your energy to worry about. Worry only about yourself.
Women need a seat at the table. They need an invitation to be seated there. And in some cases, where this isn't available, well then you know what? Then they need to create their own table. We need a global understanding that we cannot implement change effectively without women's political participation. It is said that girls with dreams become women with vision. May we empower each other to carry out such vision, because it isn't enough to simply talk about equality. One must believe in it. And it isn't enough to simply believe in it. One must work at it. Let us work at it together, starting now. Thank you so much.
Do you love your wife? Yes. Prove it. Like, what's the metric? Give me the number that helps me know, right? Because when you met her, you didn't love her. Tell me the day the love happened. It's an impossible question, right? It's not about the events. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. She didn't fall in love with you because you remembered her birthday and bought her flowers on Valentine's Day. She fell in love with you because when you woke up in the morning, you said good morning to her before you checked your phone. She fell in love with you because when you went to the fridge to get yourself a drink, you got her one without even asking. She fell in love with you because when you had an amazing day at work and she came home and she had a terrible day at work, you didn't say, yeah, but let me tell you about my day. This is why she fell in love with you. I can't tell you exactly what day, and it was no particular thing you did. It was the accumulation of all of those little things that she woke up one day and as if she pressed a button, she goes, I love him.
There were some major differences between reality and the film. Jaden Smith plays my son as a 5-year-old. My son was 14 months old. That changes everything. He was still in diapers. There was a scene in the film that takes place in the bathroom and play this game about being caveman. We need to find a cave someplace to spend the night. I had a game I played with my son, and the game was real simple. The game was called Shh. And that meant that no matter what anybody said on the other side of that door, no matter how hard they pound on the door, we're not here. We're invisible. And the hardest thing I had to do every day, childcare. When you've got young children, next to your rent or your mortgage, the biggest expense you got every month is what? Childcare. That was the hardest thing I had to do every day. And to leave my little boy with somebody I did not know and hope everything was okay. Man, that tore me to pieces every day.
When you are 20 to 30 years old, but
My grandfather was actually American from Minnesota. My mom was born in Canada, so I do have some American background.
What took your family to South Africa?
My grandfather moved with all his kids and my mom and everyone to South Africa because he wanted to use it as a base of exploration. So he had this little plane that he liked to fly all over the place, and he flew it all through Africa and Asia, and he was the first person to fly from South Africa to Australia. And he did this in a plane with no electronic instruments, and in some places they had diesel, in some places they had gasoline, and he had to rebuild the engine according to whatever fuel they had. It's lucky he survived on that one. But he was sort of an amateur archaeologist. He liked to explore things.
Seems to run in the family.
Yeah, I guess so.
My English is so bad in that time. What? Your Royal Highness?
Yes,
Yeah,
Your Royal
okay.
Highness, yeah.
Yes, then it's, when we're playing around, oh, Queen's coming, Queen's coming. Then everybody, then, what should I say? Then I see the Queen, stop, so quick. You know, then, I say, oh, okay. Then when she come, you're right. Then I just, immediately bow.
Too low.
She's still standing there. The people into the Jackie Chan, oh. She keep talking to me. My head is empty. I don't know what she's talking about. You know, honestly, I just go away. Leave me alone. Really? Of course, I'm so happy just standing here more than like a 3 minute, 5 minute. But I just go away, please.
Could you trace back in your mind? It was that person who made it.
I know exactly who did it. I know exactly the moment I started to feel valued, and for me, it was school.
I wanted to be a fourth grade teacher because of Mrs. Duncan. And I haven't seen Mrs. Duncan since then, and Mrs. Duncan is here today.
Mrs. Duncan!
The moment I felt the most value was in my fourth grade class when Mrs. Duncan said to me, I was the one who was chosen to lead the class in whatever it was.
So what was I like? I don't really remember. I do remember you.
I remember you were such a fluent reader.
Mrs. Duncan instilled in me this sense of believing that I mattered. And that is what every human being is looking for.
When you became a billionaire, at what point did you start relaxing? Were you still nervous when you became a billionaire? Like, I gotta watch this?
Well, I always wanted to have enough money in the bank so that even if our customers didn't pay us for a year, we could still keep paying everybody and do the R&D. I don't have that many things that are extravagant tastes, so didn't change too much.
So nothing really changed. You didn't say, "Oh, I'm gonna buy a Porsche."
I did.
Okay, all right, yeah, you did. All right.
Yeah, that was an indulgence.
So you have a Porsche and a plane, and that's it.
Well, in terms of crazy things, yeah.
Yeah. There's not like any wild, like you didn't build like an aquarium with sharks in it or something like that.
We have a trampoline room in our house.
Oh, wow.
The kids like that. Indoor trampoline. I recommend it.
Just one giant trampoline?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a room with a very high ceiling.
Well, yeah, I hope. Yeah, that would be cruel if you didn't put a high ceiling in there. Just go on, kids.
Be patient. Everything in life will go exactly how it's supposed to go. At times you will feel like an outcast, that you don't fit in, but you will discover that being your own clique will be your strongest attribute. In life, you're going to face many challenges, many moments of adversity. There are going to be a lot of successes and some failures too. Those moments are going to create your character, build your integrity, and they will become your beauty marks. On your journey in life, you may hear a lot more no's than yeses, but you'll let those moments motivate you, and those that said no will eventually wish they would have said yes. And to every girl listening out there, you will forever be empowered by knowing that no one, absolutely no one, can close the door that God has opened for you. Thank you so much.
I spent $1 million in 30 minutes. I get a check for $1 million from my trading car company. I always wanted a black on black Mercedes-Benz. So I go get it, boom, 150,000. Like, cause in my mind, 150 minus $1 million, I still got 850 left. I'm still good. So I get home. My father said, "That's nice. Where's mine at?" I was like, "You know what? You're right." So if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here right now. Me and him, we get in the car, go get the exact same car for him. We get home, my mom's a little jealous. Where's mine at? So we go and we get her the smaller Benz version. So we got 3 Benzes, and I get a call the next day from the bank manager, and he says, need to have a conversation with you. So I come up there and he says, Shaq, you know, athletes, when they're done playing, it's a large percentage that have nothing. So I've been following your career. You're a bright young star. I don't want you to be like that. You need to learn how to take care and manage your money. You know, General Eisenhower said the greatest leaders are the ones smart enough to have people smarter than them around them. I got a lot of smart people around me.
I fear living a life where I could have accomplished something and didn't. That's what I fear. I don't fear death.
You don't fear the unknown?
I love the unknown. You know what I want on my tombstone? A quote from Horace Mann, great educator. Be ashamed to die until you have scored some victory for humanity.
You said something about Junior just between us, no one's listening. Does he have what it takes to reach the top?
Not yet. I'm hard with him sometimes because he drink Coca-Cola and Fanta sometimes, and even my small kids, when they eat chocolates, they always look to me, and I tell him every time, this is take a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. Sometimes when he's in home and I say, go to the treadmill to run a little bit. After the treadmill, I say, go to the cold water to recover for what you do tomorrow again. And it's, Daddy, it's so cold, the water, I don't want to do it. But I understand, he's only 10 years old. Depend on him. I'm not going to push nothing for him to be a football player. If you ask me if I want, yes, I want. But he's going to be whatever he wants. Even or doctor, or I want him to thinking, you have to be the best.
The lesson I cherish the most is how important it is to love what you do. If you love what you do and it's making you happy, all the hard work and perseverance will pay off. When you know you're truly giving it your all, there's no greater feeling in the world.
So to me, it's not about building a business and making all this money. Yes, don't get me wrong, there's no hidden agenda here, guys. We all want to generate. I get that part. But man, the priceless part is the journey. The priceless part is all the no's you ran into, all the failures that happened, all the slip-ups, all the times you got knocked down. That is the fun part of the story.
The market went down in the tech crash, and it is said that you personally lost $70 billion of net worth, the greatest loss that any human being has ever suffered financially. So how did you feel losing $70 billion of net worth?
1 year before that, actually, my net worth, personal net worth, was increasing $10 billion per week. For 3 days, I became richer than Bill Gates. So in 6 months after that, our share price went down 99%. So we almost went bankrupt. And somehow I survived.
By encouraging all the young people, entrepreneurs, to learn from the mistakes. Do not study successful stories. But if you learn from the mistakes, if you learn, especially the failure case studies, it's going to help you. What I want to say is not about you. You learn from mistakes does not mean you will avoid mistakes. You will learn the attitude towards these mistakes and never give up fighting again. Of course, it's very painful when you're rejected, when you're refused. I went all around looking for money. Nobody give us the money. I all go around looking for partnerships. Nobody believed small business and e-commerce in China would work. I was very painful that day, and when I saw one movie, Forrest Gump. I love that movie, especially the sentence that Mom said, life like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get.
Make 1,000,000 mistakes. Just quit wasting your energy making the same mistakes. You have to make a decision that I will learn from this thing.
Now, they're almost always going to take you to the dining room table, and they're going to offer you something. Whatever it is, always take the fancy option. Why? Because we're never going to be the cheapest option, so we have to be the best. So, after you show them the number, You look up at them and stare. Stare longer than you should. This is not a joke. I'm only interested in this company growing, and when it isn't, it's not very funny to me at all. So when you look them in the eye, you have to believe that we are better. And we are. But you will never do anything as hard as staring someone straight in the eye and telling the truth.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. That's one of your top three. It is. 3 pieces. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. You want to know why you're all fucked up? Just look at the fucking bums you hang around with.